One thing Tom and I learned is there are no skunks in the UK. No. Dude, I almost clicked the wrong button. All right. So I sat through this video once, and I'm going to do it again twice so we can talk shit about them. All right. So UK Vice put this out. How super strength weed dominated the UK. Oh my God. There is so much stupid packed in this 10 minutes of being lectured by a 13-year-old. Let's start watching it. And then I'll pause it and talk shit.
You could tell a stoner.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Back in the 90s, you could tell a stoner by the tiny holes in their clothes. They were burns caused by hot rocks, bits of badly crumbled hash falling out of a spliff.
So I'm curious about this guy. It looks like he's 12, telling me about some shit in the 90s. Highly suspect. But hey, go ahead and tell me more about how hash was the leading cause of holes in shirts, not just like cigarette butts, right? Go for it.
No one talks about hot rocks anymore because almost no one smokes hash. That's because an international war on drugs crackdown led to Britain swapping mellow hippie hash for something far stronger.
Dun 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 dun. Mellow hippie hash.
Skunk.
Oh shit! Is that cannabis? Yeah, it's cannabis.
And with skunk came violence and mental illness.
How do you protect yourself?
All right, let's just unpack that stupid real quick. Let's unpack that stupid. So he's showing you cannabis, and he's telling you the reason why hashish is not as predominant during the time is because better weed came about. Regardless of the fact that hash is made from cannabis, hash is the concentrate of cannabis. What kind of bullshit rhetoric are these guys talking about? The flower is not more potent. The flower is not stronger than hash. Matter of fact, hash will always be stronger. But I tell you what happened is less people want to smuggle hash from Afghanistan when they were getting arrested and stuff, when they can just grow the flower regionally and then make the hash regionally. All right, let's get back into the stupid.
And mental illness.
Okay, and then again, he talks about the cannabis flower is the cause of the mental illness and violence. First off, violence is subject because of the illegality of this, right? You're not protecting tomatoes. You're not protecting broccoli. Second, the mental illness. It has been acknowledged, but not 100% confirmed that, if you're already preordained to a psychosis issue, it's not proven that cannabis will exasperate, nor has it not proven. Okay, that's what we're getting with that. So let's continue on with these nutcases.
Protect yourself. Well, you have to be equipped. I pull out my tool. Fuck 5 times in his face. His face was like a pineapple.
Okay, so like this whole video is highlights from past shows from 2017, 2016. And the way this guy slants the conversation it's very disturbing. Like, yo, Vice, what happened to you, man? You used to be cool. You just go to the UK, you're not cool anymore, man? What's up, Vice? All right.
This man is a weed dealer, part of the UK's new and ultra-violent industry of gangs, pushers, slaves, and smokers caught in the trade of...
Yeah, you heard that. Pushers, slaves, smokers. Let's face it, people who are going to do illegal shit are doing other illegal shit. And it has nothing to do with the plant. It's all to do with the law and how we're structured. Okay? What is it? Cost versus return. So because it's dangerous, because you can go to jail, lose liberty, people go to extremes, to not go there. And so let's continue on. I fast forward a bunch of this stuff because, it's probably not right to just stream it straight. So chop some bits and pieces, I think we're better off at. But let's see what this nutcase is talking about.
On the one hand, it's grown and sold by people like this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Any bad man, trust me, any bad man.
But on the other, it's still associated with people like this.
Now, props for at least showing a positive. Like, honestly, how is this not positive, right? How is this negative? Look at all these human beings just hanging out and not being violent and just being human beings.
chilling out in the lovely springtime.
Harmless, dopey stoners doing harmless, dopey stoner things. The sort of people who just want to be left alone to live a chill life, give human names to their
Yeah, right. Just want to be left alone, not go to jail. So I love how this guy gets his facts, his analytics. And again, like I said, he references in the video, if I get to it, I come across it, 9/11 and how the war on drugs with Afghan and terrorism, all that bullshit. There was some funding or whatever. But again, hash is just a concentrate of cannabis, so you can make it anywhere. Afghanistan is just a land race, a place of origin where it's like if you were a beer connoisseur and then they found that 1800 recipe from monks that's supposed to be the best beer, and you'd want that. And that's what Afghanistan is. Imagine that smoke is probably heavenly to my taste buds, but you know.
away. And that's because the type of cannabis people smoke is changing. In the UK, that shift has been seismic. The proof is in this highly sophisticated graph.
Highly sophisticated, folks. Now, again, they don't have skunks in England. Tom and I learned that when we had some guests from England, and that blew my mind because they're referring to the skunk smell, and they don't have skunks. And they're like, that really smells like an animal? That's horrible. So, or great, depends on who you are. So skunk is not anything special. Skunk is just cannabis. These ignorant propaganda machine motherfuckers.
2005, just under half of the cannabis seized by UK police was hash. But in the space of just 3 years, that figure had plummeted to 14%. By 2016, it had fallen again to a meager 6%. As the hash market collapsed, skunk seizures skyrocketed from 51% in 2000.
Change the word skunk to cannabis. The flower. Just change the flower. That's all it is. And the reason why is because flower has been the preferred. Look at the recreational markets. You know, we have concentrates, we have edibles, we have pre-rolls, but flower has been always the number one consistent thing among consumers. Why? Because flower can become hash, because flower can become concentrate, flower can be turned to aerosol, flower can be decarbed at home. You can do a lot of things with flower. You can only do so much with hash, but smoke it, and it's wonderful.
5 to 85% in 2008, climbing again to 94% in 2016. Including this 1990s
mad lad with all his facts, all his crazy facts.
Dutch drug scene. Over the course of that decade, many key figures in hash trafficking were killed or put in prison, including this guy, Klaas Brunsma. Based in Amsterdam, Brunsma built the largest narcotics empire ever seen in modern Europe before he was shot dead by an ex-cop in 1991. And then, 10 years later, this happened.
And this is where we get into the more
in the wake of
fear-mongering.
9/11, the war on terror was launched in retaliation, and it quickly became clear that jihadists had been funding their attacks by selling hash, which, as you can imagine, was bad news for hash.
Again, motherfucker. Hash is not special. This is the difference of like orange juice going down use, but oranges are used rampantly. Or apples and apple juice. You know, hash is just a concentrate. It's just a form of concentrate. Okay. It's so painful to watch. So again, he brings out old videos. This one is how like grandmas, female growers are predominant in the UK cannabis scene. They got a name for them called groupers or something like that. But well, why? Why is this relevant? Because women are being used and being successful and taking care of themselves. Older women, you know, there's an issue when you get older. Couples split up, and sometimes one is relies on the other's income, and just on the quality of life and how they lived. And then when that person leaves, what is that one person supposed to do? How are they supposed to sustain for themselves when they don't have the job skill except for providing a home or whatever? Well, growing is one way. Okay. So more fear mongering about the grandmas and how they don't have to answer to nobody. Gropers. That's the female term for older women who grow in England, apparently. And so again, this nutcase does not make any good arguments, though. In the end, his closing kind of has relevance. Let's listen.
Suburban streets and high-rise estates.
No, let's go back to that one.
There weren't always this many civilian weed grows hidden.
With my family.
Okay.
So I don't feel
Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention too. So as we get into this, he calls them civilian weed grows. There are no militant weed grows. Everybody's a civilian. Everybody's a citizen of where they're from.
They've got my back. I can't use them.
Right.
But I know that they,
Yeah.
if I was to want to use them.
There weren't always this many civilian weed grows hidden away on the suburban streets and high-rise estates of the UK. When skunk first arrived in Britain, only a select few knew how to cultivate it. Chief among them were Vietnamese gangs, who showed up in the early years of the new millennium. They came to exploit the post-9/11 hash shortage and quickly seized control of the UK cannabis market. The Vietnamese operated a multitude of skunk grow houses.
That's right. I'm trying to fast forward to like talking points, and I forgot he tries to isolate and say, it's these Vietnamese people gangs and they're running the illegal grows. And then here in this section here, these cats, it talks about the psychoactiveness and they're all like, I went crazy. One kid talks about, you're doing more than weed, my friend. You're doing more than weed, my dude. I mean, I've been out of it. And perhaps, you have moments of paranoia, but there's no imaginary makes you do anything, not like alcohol. But let's go on.
That skunk first seduced British stoners en masse. And once it was in widespread use, there were more nasty surprises on the way.
You got scary
When
music.
did you start smoking?
About 14. Literally fucked me up from young, sent me mad.
When did you realize that, wow, this shit's strong?
When I went to the psychiatrist and I says, look, I don't think it's normal that I'm not sleeping. So that's just like one example, like how mad can go mad. You get me paranoid, fucking all that shit. Because I'd walk down the road and feel like I have to walk like close to a bottle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in case car pulled up, I'd be in my boxers with my samurai sword on top of the roof and thing. You know what I mean? Looking like, yo, you get me?
Yeah, perfectly normal thing, right? Samurai swords. And look, wait, he talks about how he lost his eyeball too.
One eye for you, you know what I mean? Stay in school, you bastards!
Yeah, there's a fucking source for psychosis and cannabis. I mean, the kid probably had issues already, right? And so the guy brings on a doctor, and even the doctor confirms that there's no direct connection. But again, skunk is not different.
And the role of cannabis in causing psychosis in particular. Recent analysis has shown that it's not cannabis per se, but it's the high potency stuff we call skunk. Skunk is grown under conditions which maximize the THC potency. And when the plant is producing such high levels of THC, it really struggles to produce any of the protective element called cannabidiol or CBD. So in people with schizophrenia, skunk is associated with it.
Okay, all they described this is really good weed, right? That's all they described. It's something that's been tailored, something that's been grown. The THC is not going to be your trigger. It's not going to be your. If it was, wouldn't all these recreational states have more mental health issues, right? Like kids are fucked up as it is, and part of it's 2020 and too much media. There's lots of reasons why this generation's fucked or last generation's fucked, but. Let's see if I can get back to this guy's closing points.
Gangs that got rich selling skunk started investing in harder drugs.
Oh, yeah. So here's a good point. So at least here's the twist. Dun, dun, dun. He talks about how, cannabis has a big market, less fearful, more money. And then these cats are getting more hungry and investing that money into harder drugs.
Skunk started investing in harder drugs. Though the bosses have changed, many of those tending the crops are still foreign slaves, trafficked across the world into the UK to work in grow houses. They're known by the authorities as ghosts because they drift unnoticed through British society. They're barely there. Their presence doesn't register. Today, the same can't be said for skunk, an import whose pungent aroma has almost completely replaced the...
So much stupid to pack in. Okay, with the ghost, the trafficking, human trafficking. These are bad people. Let's just go with that. The human trafficking people are just bad people, and that's what you need to go after, not the grow. not the flower. That's not the issue. The law is the issue. What was the other thing he said? That so he talks about immigrants and then
The same
the dangers of skunk and how it's still around. Yeah, this guy's just pure stupid. All right, guys, I had to share. I had to. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, so much reefer madness packed in that one. All right, guys, take care. Peace, like, subscribe, all that jazz. See you guys next, whenever.